Well, today on my bike ride, on my Turn Verge, which is an amazing bike, bam, busted spoke. I was able to just rig. I disconnected the brake. I just got it tied together with this rubber band so my feet would clear when I pedaled. And boom. But I was able to pedal out because as I was pedaling, the brake would bump, 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 bump. And yes, so let's get all my stuff together and we'll cut and thread a spoke. And the good thing is it's the non-drive side, which means I should be able to thread the spoke in and up and get it on all without taking the wheel off. I'll probably just use the brake pads as a guide to true it back and forth, but if not, we will lower my stand and put it on my throwing stand and get it perfect. But we will see how this goes. All right, let's get my stuff together. All right, the first thing we need to do is get this spoke off. And I twisted it up and around the spoke just to keep it from flapping when I was riding. And it broke right at the J-bend. That's where the spoke head fits into the rim. So I should be able to use this to measure the correct length that I need. And I can always break out a ruler. And let's straighten that out a bit. If I can straighten it, I can spin it out. There we go. I'm just holding the nipple. And I might have to take the tire off. But I'm going to try to do it without having to do that. The bend is still screwing with me a little bit. Okay. And it's almost out. And I'm going to pop the wheel up, that way the spoke nipple stays and doesn't go into the rim. Oh, I just rotated the wheel up, because if I were to rotate the wheel down, this nipple, there you go, you can see that better right there, could fall into the double wall of the rim. And we don't want that. All right, let's go get a spoke. And I don't have that many sizes of spokes, but I can always cut it and thread it. And if I have to do that, I'll show you how. Okay, I'm going to have to measure the spoke because the spoke that came off broke above the J-bend. So you want the threads to go just up into the rim a little bit. So there's the threads. And yeah, you can see that it is, yeah, short by about 10 millimeters. So I will go ahead and break out my my ruler. I have a specific spoke ruler if I can locate it. If not, any standard ruler will do. And yeah, let's get all that stuff together and get her done. Okay, I didn't find a black spoke, and as you can see, this spoke is amazingly long, so we're going to have to cut it down and thread it. And I have a Sharpie, so what I'm going to do is just take the spoke nipple that I have on this off, and I'm going to take the J-bend and stick it where the other spoke would need to go. I can locate it. It's a drive side one. So I will have to take the wheel off, but I could still do it. There's the hole right there. I'm going to come up. Always easier to do when you're not working a camera. And I need to come up into the rim just a hair. And I'm going to cut it a little long, that way I could snip it down to the right size. So I've got the mark right there. And I'm going to come and clip it just a little long. Wow, much stronger spoke than I thought. Okay, now we get to see. If I come from this end and see how I did it. So that'll come in from this direction. Bump. So I need to come down. Yeah, where I made the mark is going to work perfect. So I need to cut it. I'd rather focus. Yeah, I'd rather cut multiple times than get it too short right off the bat. Bump, bump. I still feel it's a hair too long, but that's okay. You don't want it to be so long that it comes into the double wall, which is probably just below the braking surface. So that way, you end up popping spokes. But to have it about 1 millimeter or so long isn't going to be that much of an issue. But since it's on the drive side, I have to take the cassette off to get to it. And we will do that. And there you go. That is going to work out perfect. All right. Let's get set up so I can show you how I thread the spokes. All right, I got a file. And I like to round over these edges and just knock out any burrs or sharp spots that I got from snipping it. And you can feel it, it'll just start skating over the top. And you want to feel it, you want to get any of the sharp edges off, just in case it pokes through too far. Bump. And basically you want about 8 to 10 millimeters of threads, and I have little marks that I put on this years ago, but you can also just use a ruler, and this slides in here like this. I get it to where it just touches the rollers, and then I slide this. I need to clean that so I can see it. So, oh, here they are back here. Bump. And then I lock it down right there. Then it's just a matter of spinning it. This collar here on this Hosan spoke rolling machine is how you adjust it between 14 and 15 gauge. Right now, I don't know what gauge I have it set at, but probably 14, which is the thicker one, and that's what I'm pretty sure that this is. Oh, let's make sure that this is tight. And you want to make sure that this isn't twisting, which it's not. And I can always take an adjustable or pliers and create more pressure, which I might have to do here because it's got very thin threads. And of course I have my spoke nipple that I can test it on. and we are going to test it. I could just feel it with my fingernails. I'm just going to take this and just go give it a loosen it, and let's see what we get. There you go, I got threads. Focus. And it's hard to see, but the threads are coming through, which is nice. And I will just do a quick measurement to make sure I got them down deep enough. This isn't millimeters, but it's close enough. Yeah. I'm going to come down a little deeper. And we're going to go focus. I'm going to come in and I'm going to add just a little bit more length to the threads. And boom, I'm going to just edge this out a little bit. Ideally, you want enough threads for the spoke nipples, but you don't want enough showing past the spoke nipple just because it's ugly, not because it would hurt anything. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to focus. Cell phone cams, I need to get a real cam someday. Not good enough to show threads, but you can see, oh, there we go, you can see, of course, for that few seconds. There you go. Yeah, comes all the way through. No slop side to side this way. I think we have a winner. All right, let's get the wheel off the bike. Now I want to make sure that this spoke and this nipple are the same thread, because if they're not, I'm going to have to, and this will also, I'm just going to leave it in there when I take the wheel off. And they are. Good. So now I could just leave this in there and take the wheel off. I won't have to take the tire and tube off. I might have to if I can't get it round in my drawing stand. I will shift it down to the smallest cog, nice and easy, so I don't get that spoke all caught up. Undo my rubber band. Bam! Ah, I got that in there tight. Okay, let's get the stuff to take that cassette off. Transfer it over to my little work area at Prospect Mountain. I like to put the tool in a vise, and this way I can set the wheel in, use a chain whip. This chain whip has been bent and broken trying to get other devices off and fix gear cogs, I think, or freewheels. I forget what it was. All right, let's go get the wheel. Okay, we will pop this up here. Clockwise, well, tightens, so we need to go the opposite direction. Any cog will do. I kind of just get it in here. I might have to get a different chain whip. Well, we would try the top gear here. My other chain whip's got a lot more leverage. Look at that. Now I should be able to get it with my hands. We'll go back to the other room. Yeah, this is a box 8-speed cassette. Yeah, the box 4 8-speed. And I can tell you that these drivetrains have been inexpensive for me and shift amazingly well. I'm very happy with the product. The wheels are the Litepro. I'm not sure what model it is. Okay, fun. S21s. Very lightweight, roll amazingly fast. And they've been good up until this issue. I do have black spokes, but I'd have to take them out of another wheel and that I'm not using. I don't mind having one silver spoke in there. Okay, I'm going to back this up so I can sit down, be in cam, and get the spoke in there. Okay. Might need to get down. Yeah, they all come through the back like this. Try to bend it without scratching the paint. Let's check the length. The length should be good. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to put a little bit of lube onto the spoke threads. A lot of people use spoke prep, which is actually like a super light Loctite, but any grease, lube, anything that helps to seat the spoke for tension will suffice. The ones that dry have the, like a Loctite, have the advantage of acting like a Loctite and keeps the nipples from vibrating loose. Okay, hopefully we're in camera. And hopefully I can get this started. Yeah, I might have to take the tire out, but I was hoping to just sneak it up and in, turn it. I might get lucky. I'm trying to flex the spoke down like that. All right. Woohoo! Now I'm not going to go crazy on the tensioning until I get it up on the truing stand. I just want to get it to where the spoke isn't so floppy. Those hose and spoke rolling tools, a lot of bike shops have them. The shops that do a lot of wheel building, they'll have like a fill wood spoke rolling machine. And yeah, those are a lot more money, as where the hose end ones are attainable. They used to only be like 35, 40 bucks back when I got it, 30 years ago. All right, let's set up my work stand for, I just need to lower my work stands to get to my throwing stand. And there we go. I've got the wheel mounted up here using the standard quick release. I just have a one-sided truing stand. My dual-sided one I either gave away years ago or sold. And now I need to find my spoke wrench. Okay, here we go. So I know most of the problem is where the new spoke is. And you can just tighten that area, but I might have to loosen the other so I don't have to have as much pressure on the new spoke. So I'll loosen one to get it over, tighten the other until it's true, and maybe tighten that one back up a little bit. And we're going to loosen that up, tighten the silver one up. I know by loosening the black one next to it and pulling this over, it's less pressure on the silver spoke, but it will create a dip down and it won't be perfectly round. But at some point I tension both of them. Let's get that. And I will get this one back up to tension a little bit. This one. And I'm just going to squeeze them. And my spoke wrench doesn't fit through these all that well. Well, how? And I'm going to bring it, or I can slide it down to the seam where the tire is. And I could check for roundness there. If it's a 1/2 millimeter off, I'm not going to get too crazy. And it's looking pretty good. I'm going to go around, squeeze all the spokes. Make sure they all feel pretty similar. These do feel a little less tensioned. And squeeze in this direction. And I think we're there. And I'm just going to come up to the top, to the top circle here. And I'm watching that line up against where the, I guess you call it stylus is. And there you go. Back and ready to be able to put on the bike. All right, let's get the cassette back on and okay, let's take the quick release back off. Yeah, these Litepro wheels, yeah, K-Phone S21s, that's what it says up there. Yeah, there was a pretty big improvement over, let's say, my the stock ones that came on the bike in like 2013. They were good wheels. They were just standard ball bearings. I got the spacer because I went to an 8-speed from a 9 or a 10. So the spacing's off. It's got a fat key, so you rotate that to find the fat key. And I might have to do it that way. There we go. See if I can't get this on all together. I highly doubt it. I'm gonna find the fat key. Oh, I'm already sliding it apart. All right, do it old school. Take it apart. Fat, skinny right there. Go. Fat and thin. Bump, bump. And even with my glasses, I'm fucking blind. There we go. These lock rings here that have serrated teeth. Yeah, I put them on pretty tight. They don't really need to be because they can't really... Well, I have seen these vibrate off loose, but not when the serrations are as strong as this. Some of the Shimano ones have the serrations, but on the back of the lock ring, they have like a thin metal washer, almost tinfoil-like. And if those aren't torqued right, they can back off under load. And let me get my wrench and just tighten that up. No need to put it in a vise. Like right here, you can only feel one clunk at a time. By the time you're getting there and you have to put force to get one clunk, you definitely have it tight enough. The spoke quality might not be great on these since I busted a spoke and I've only had the things half a year. But I've had plenty of high-end wheels where I've broken spokes. I ride more than the average person. And yeah, I'd buy these wheels again in a heartbeat. They were very inexpensive. They roll amazingly fast. All right, let's get it back on the bike and adjust the brakes again. All right. We will find a rag really quick, and I'll just give this a quick little wipe down in here. Little Kaboom kitchen cleaner. Works very well for cleaning bikes. High polished stuff I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for because, you know, my cranks aren't as high shine as they once were. Years of riding grime. I semi-maintain my bikes. I mean, I definitely maintain them, keep them adjusted, all that good stuff. But I'm not the spit shine person that I once was. Here we are. I'm putting the quick release skewer on. Usually I don't put the quick release skewer on the drive side. The last one I was riding the bike, I had it on this side. But what I've noticed is when I fold it up, the skewer sticks out, and sometimes I don't get good adherence to this. So I'm going to go back to the way it came factory, believe it or not, with the skewer on the drive side. And yeah, I've told customers for years not to do that because I feel you get more torque on your drive side, and most of the quick release skewers have these nylon washers. I just feel it's not as good of a connection, but the truth of the matter is it works on compression by squeezing both sides evenly. And so yeah, it's probably just perfectly fine. Oh, try to get it past the kickstand. Let's take the skewer out because the way the cable is set up, it's that I didn't think about before. There we go. Up and in. I'm just spinning the quick release head on the other side that you can't see. There we go. I'm pulling up on the wheel. If it was on the ground, you'd have gravity to help you seat it. And maybe another quarter turn. There we go. And I'll lower the stand a little bit. And I should be able to get the brake on. Yes, this little rubber band was for my Garmin mount, which I don't even use the Garmin anymore. Not for any real reason other than I just don't care about the numbers anymore. I just want to ride. I have way more fun just riding than thinking about training numbers. So I'm messing around with my hand warmer. There we go. Now I can pull this, pop that in there, squeeze the brake lever. I think we're back in business. Having to walk around the camera. It's hard to see here. Yeah, one of my brakes is a little uneven. You can see this side's not moving, the other side was. The easiest way to adjust that is pop the spring off on this end. I'm just going to wipe it clean. I'm just going to pull it this direction just a hair, nice and evenly. My thumb's in the way of the camera, but I'm just applying pressure to bend it just a little bit. You don't need a lot. I could always use the adjustment screws, but it's better to do that with the spring tension off than it is on, just to get a cleaner. Yeah, when you're just prying on this, yes, it works, but for some reason it doesn't seem to sit and hold as where if I could just, there we go. One turn, just bring it back in. There you go. No rub. Check my brake pad alignment. Make sure it's not hitting the tire, and now I can use the top of the brake pad there and the rim to see if there's any dips or rises where it's like lumpy. And you can see it's pretty straight. So yeah, I'm good to go. And we will pop this back into place, which always falls out of place. Those stupid brake noodles. And then I'm just going to tighten up the cable with at the barrel adjuster to get it even with the other one. There you go. Back in business. This is how I get a new spoke into my system. Yeah, I thought it was a non-drive one, but drive one takes a little longer. Not non-drive. A lot of times you're able to just lace it through by flexing the spoke, getting it up and in. And this time around it took a little longer, but I'm back in business. And I'll take this out of here. I actually am in love with my folding bike. These are like 1991, 92 climates. And it's like 30 degrees on my rides, 28 degrees sometimes in the morning now in southern Vermont. But the climates do what they say. I can use regular spring, fall gloves, even super cold. Keeps the wind off. And it actually, when you ride it, it's funny. Your hands kind of generate heat in there. You can see, that's what the fleece lined. And yeah, just Velcros up and on. Take them on and off when you need it. Got my basket. And yeah, there we go. My turn verge, and ready to go out for another ride. Thanks for watching.